Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, people of the internet. It's your boy Saudi. I can tell I have a very weird looking guest, ladies and gentlemen. He hails from the Hive. He is a former Wrestling Go gold medal, former Newcastle Pro Wrestling middleweight champion. He is Mr. B Boy. What's going on?
Hello, how are you? I'm pretty good, thank you.
Yeah, good. Ready for Sunday. Big event this Sunday, guys. Wrestling Go. Here we go in honor of one of the loudest fans in wrestling, Mr. Kyle Eid. And we just want to give a quick shout out to his mate Josh, who's yeah, looks like the old cancer's back from what he told me. So sending
Yeah,
out well wishes to
someone told me a few hours ago, and I'm like, yeah,
uh,
that's not good.
yeah, sending out well wishes to Josh. But firstly, I saw this. How did you get into wrestling, like in general?
Um, it randomly came on. It was either on TV for whatever reason, or I don't know, or my dad was flicking through and then left it on or something. I think it was Raw in 2003, uh, maybe July, because I think August was SummerSlam, where it was Kane and IVD doing their thing,
Mm.
and this was when Kane had just unmasked, and he was burning people alive, and electroshocking people. Um, yeah, so that led to their rivalry, and then I didn't see it for a few months after, but then I got proper into it at around Survivor Series 2003. So what's it like, October? And then that just led up to WrestleMania 20, and then it just kept rolling from there. It was just
Keep
randomly
rolling,
on TV.
rolling. Yeah. All right. Obviously, this Sunday we are going to be well. You guys are doing a show in
Hmm.
honor of perhaps one of the loudest fans in wrestling, the Kyle Eid, who unfortunately out of nowhere passed away in July. Still doesn't seem real. Obviously, let's talk about that show because it is going to be one hell of a show. There is a
Hmm.
rug, guys. By the way, I have seen photos of. Hold on, let me just get it up here real quick. It is really good. Uh, Here we go. Click. It's pretty much his catchphrase, but like rug form.
Hmm.
Here it is. In my opinion, this has to be the greatest rug I have seen in my life because that is absolutely unreal.
um,
That is a good rug.
so how this all came about was with All Star Wrestling Australia. They do CollectorCon sometimes in Penrith. So it's pretty much it's a it's just a geez, what are they called? How do I be politically correct about this? It's pop culture really, and it's all. I mean, I'm sure they won't mind, but it's like all nerdy stuff. It's like comic books and action figures, and it's just it's a kids who didn't grow up really. um, and that's why wrestling usually goes hand in hand with these sort of things, because you've got people in costumes, you've got the over the top characters and dress ups, cosplays, and because of the boom with especially Marvel over the last 10, 15 years, uh, it's become pop culture instead of just being in this segregated community. So from there, it, there are more businesses being able to, you know, actually be something and make money, and it's just a different avenue for people to find a living through their passion. which is pretty cool. And then obviously CollectorCon is it's just a little um, it's a little thing over in Penrith every about 3 months, but it's growing, and it's now in a basketball stadium. It's held in 3 different basketball stadiums on the one premises, and it's not big enough anymore. Like they need a bigger building, and the building's already ginormous. Um, there's no parking by what 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and it opens at 8:30. So I was wrestling. I think it was at the beginning of the year or late last year, and I just wander around. I usually don't, but I think I was wandering around in the mask for some reason in between sessions, and there was this big store with all these rugs, and they were pretty cool. One of my friends is really into Stranger Things, and there was this big white rug that stood out. It was like $450. I'm like, well, I can't afford that. I'm not getting that for them. But yeah, I just had a look, and then yeah, I interacted with the a few of the people at the store, and yeah, they were really nice. Followed them on social media, and then yeah, we just became friends with them. Um, so yeah, and then the Kyle thing happened, and I was like, well, it's just something different. Like everything with Wrestling Go for the most part is different. From some of the characters to the medals, to how I present things. It's not all fancy. Um, yeah, it's not all lights and lights and all these big trusses. It's just chuck a ring in a hall, keep it basic, keep it affordable for us, so it's then affordable for the people who do attend, which are families. Because if you're an adult, you pay for yourself. If you're a parent, you have to pay for 4, 5, 6 people. So yeah, just try to keep it affordable. I think I've just got it now. All right, so so I decided to do this because it's different. It cost me a bit of money, because once again, it's a business. This person's running a business. They're my friend, but it's a business. But by doing this, I get to support them, but I also hopefully get to support Kyle's family. Look, it's a raffle. Tickets are $5 each, and if we raise $100, well, so it cost me X amount to get it made. It wasn't like a small amount. It was a couple of $100, but the meaning behind it, and it's one of a kind,
Yeah.
and it's in honor of Kyle. So if I don't raise the amount of money that I paid for the rug, I'm gonna make up the difference. So say I say only $100 worth of raffle tickets are sold. I'm going to give the $100, and then make up the difference with my own money. So Kyle's family get at least what I paid for the rug. So essentially, I'm paying double. I could be paying double if I don't sell any raffle tickets. which is okay. Because I want, look, they raised over, what was it, $15,000 for
I,
Kyle.
I, I think the whole GoFundMe thing ended up like only about 15, 16 grand. Like
Yep.
because like when I got the call from a friend of mine, they passed away. I thought like, nah, come on, really? Like
Hmm.
no chance. Because the last show I saw him was AWA down at Hurstville,
Hmm.
and then literally that was it. I was like, all right, dude, I'll see you next show. 3 weeks later, gone. It's like, fuck, okay, cool.
Yep. So the money, in reality, they don't need the money. Kyle's family, they don't need the money. Like, it's just money. Maybe
Yeah,
for the funeral, um, but they've more than covered that. But
yeah,
the money doesn't matter. But the memory of Kyle is what really matters. Um,
yeah.
so I've got the rug here. Um, so it actually just came in on Monday, Monday afternoon. Um,
Wow, that's awesome. That dude, that looks unreal. Holy smokes!
mm-hmm.
Here we
uh,
go.
so yeah, I don't
That's
know if you can
insane,
really see how detailed
bro. That's
it
insane.
is, but yeah, it's
That's
really good.
crazy.
Um, so it's made by Redback Rugs. They're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, pretty much
Twitch.
everything. Twitch, yeah. So it's basically like a family business now.
Hmm.
So um, so they actually, they offered me a deal that I can get some more of the rugs made um, for $200 each, which is cheaper than what I got this one for. Um,
Hmm.
so if whoever doesn't win the raffle and they really want to win, the rug, um, you know, you can, pre-order the rug or do whatever, and then you'll get the rug in time for Christmas. Um, and then $50 will be going straight to Kyle's family if they want it. It's only
Yeah.
$50, but
Hmm.
yeah, like the money is nothing. I'm sure they could care less about the money. Um, it's
Yeah.
just the sentiment. But if anyone wants one of these rugs, because I know my family want one, and then I think I want one.
I'll take
Yeah,
one.
yeah. So and
I'll
look,
have one.
it looks cool. Like I'm probably gonna just be just
Yeah.
hanging it up here, on the wall or something because it looks cool. Um, like it's
Yeah.
like it's big enough, or it's slightly bigger than what a doormat would be. But
Yeah.
she makes rugs that are well, ginormous. Um, and yeah, I don't know. It's just something different, and it's even
Yeah.
if you don't want, even if you don't like rugs, because I don't have any rugs. My house just isn't fit for it. But something that size, um, it would look nice in a frame, nice just hanging on the wall. Um, and even if you didn't know
Hmm.
Kyle, it looks cool. But if you did know Kyle, it's even more special because that's what you think of. Because I see on the ads now, on whether it be online or on TV, in the sport ads, they're all like, "Here we go, let's go," um, and I'm like, well, that's where he got it from because he
Yeah.
loves sports and he loves um,
West Tigers. We'll just not talk about the West Tigers season because they had a horrendous year
Is that who he
for West
goes
Tigers
for?
supporters.
Is,
Yeah,
is that who he
Tigers.
goes for?
He was a mad Tigers fan. Like every time it was Knights vs Tigers, he's like, "All right, Southie, who's gonna win? Newcastle." Bullshit. No. I'm being dead set legit. Newcastle will win. And what happened?
Hmm.
We won twice.
Yeah. Hmm. Um, but yeah, so it just happened out of nowhere. I don't know if it was because of a pre-existing condition. Like really, like I don't know, and it's not
No,
really
no
anyone
one
else's
knows.
business. Um, and I don't know. I know that obviously he said like there was a tweet he put out. I think it was like 8 o'clock at night on the Saturday. He said, "I feel sick," and then you know I think 6 hours later or whatever it was, he died. And I'm like,
Hmm.
straight away, I thought, well, he said he was sick. Surely he would have told his dad.
Yeah.
Um, was he sick? Um, sick enough to go to hospital? I don't know. Did his dad not see the signs? I don't know. But he's not a doctor. But
No.
on top of that, like from what I heard, it was just, it's, it's just his lungs just stopped working. And, the, the body's weird. Sometimes that just happens
Yeah.
out of nowhere. Um, yeah, like he's 23. He didn't smoke, I
No.
don't think. Um,
Nah.
he liked drinking, like at shows and stuff. But I don't think he did anything too wild. So really, it did come out of nowhere, and we don't know why. I'm sure, the doctors and everyone, uh, they, they all they all may have a clue, because that's their job to figure out why and how. But that's not our business. But if they want to like, if the family want to pass on, information on how we can look out for signs, or
Hmm.
um, just any information on or even if it's as simple as you know cherish the time you have with someone. Because look, I thought about this yesterday or today while I was at work.
Hmm.
Somehow Kyle was on the internet 24/7. Something gets
Yeah.
announced on Facebook with any wrestling company in Australia, and he's posted it basically the same time as the company did, and I don't know how. Um, he, I know that he used to message like lots of people. I know that he wanted friends and stuff, and he was lonely.
Hmm.
And some people became friends with him, which is nice. Um, but I know that he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But he just wanted friends, and you just have to be, you know, you don't have to be, you don't have to be friends with everyone, but you have to try. You have to
Hmm.
try to be nice to everyone because you never know
Yeah.
what that person's going through. Um, I could be the meanest person in the world, um, but it doesn't mean I could be the you know happiest person in the world. You meet me for the first time, I'm having the I've had the worst day of my life. Um, but it, I don't know. It's hard to put into words.
Hmm.
Someone could be having that bad of a day, and one compliment, one smile, one something, at the end of the day, the start of the day, that could change everything. That could stop whatever from happening.
Mm.
And then, yeah, Kyle rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Yeah.
But so at the last Wrestling Go show, the one that he attended, because
Was that
he
the Rumble show? The Gillespie Rumble?
it would have been the Rumble show, because we
Yeah.
did one at Riverston a couple of months
I was in
ago.
Canberra. Up
hmm
the Knights. Let's
hmm
go.
Yeah, Kyle wasn't there. There was one show. I think it was PWA, and for
Mm.
whatever reason he wasn't there. It's because he was sick. Um, and then Wrestling Go happened. He wasn't there, and it was weird. Um, and then that night he said, "Oh, I feel sick," and then that's when it happened.
Mm.
But at the Rumble show, so I think that was back in May or something.
Hold up. Let me have a look.
May, I think, or June 4th, maybe. So what happened was afterwards, he look, he rubbed people the wrong way because of non-stop messaging and sometimes calls and all of that. And then a lot of the time he would get to the venue early, sometimes before some of the wrestlers, and just hang around. And then after the show, he'd stay and stick around. A lot of the time after most of the wrestlers. But people need to understand that, look, he's still a kid, early 20s.
Mm.
He didn't drive.
No.
And he lives in Newcastle.
I believe Central Coast area.
Okay. So Central Coast.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yep. So Central Coast, he still has to catch at least a train, at least one. That's minimum hour and a half to somewhere in Sydney, just to see a wrestling show, and then he'll go all the way back. And then if there's another show in Sydney, then the following day he'll come all the way back down. He wouldn't try to, he didn't have many friends that were fans. Maybe because he did annoy a lot of people, and that's okay. But he went back and forth and back and forth, just because he liked wrestling. But sometimes he had to stay back because he wanted social interaction, because that's the only time he gets social interaction. It was with the wrestlers or with some of the other fans. And then sometimes it became too much for some of the fans or some of the wrestlers, and then that hurt him. Like, everyone's got at least one person that whenever they message or they call, you're like, oh no, not this person. I'm not doing it. For a lot of people, that person was Kyle. But when he was at shows, he
was the loudest one in the room.
Yeah, like
he was always like it didn't really matter if there was 5 people, 10 people, 15, 20, 100, 200, 300. If you're at a show and you hear, here we go, you're like, oh, fuck. The man's here. Like, he's here. It didn't really matter like what venue was at, whether it be Max Watts, Marion. We'll talk about Marion. Good old days. Katoomba, Melbourne. He would travel everywhere for like Gosford to Melbourne.
Yep.
Like, he would travel everywhere for shows because that's who he was. Like, yeah, he was a pain in the ass, but when he was at those shows, he was the loudest one. When I'm at shows, I'm the quietest one in the room. Can't even hear me.
So he made everyone the most money. um,
Mm.
unless there was someone that was a super fan of me or someone else that would spend $100. Here you go. Um, he constantly took photos.
Mm.
Sometimes it annoyed people. Oh, have to get a co-lead photo again this show, but it just shows that photo could be the last photo.
Yeah.
um, and without taking those photos, you look. I I took a photo with Kyle back in
Mm.
2020. I didn't even know that I knew him back then, to be honest. Um,
Yeah.
and then I came across it because I looked through these tagged photos on Instagram. I literally had to ask people, how does everyone have all these photos just ready to go? Oh, you have to look at your tags and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, oh, I've got 3 or 4 photos with Kyle. And you can see him growing up in each photo.
Yeah.
Like he was a little skinny um, in the
Little
first
skinny
one,
fella. Now he's just like
and then
big
he got
bulky
chubbier and
dude. It was like,
chubbier and chubbier. Yep. Um, but you see them grow up, and then with others, you see yourself grow up as well,
mm,
and
yeah.
that's pretty cool. Um, so, because without him taking all these videos and photos, that's less content for you to share. Because otherwise, you have to rely
Mm,
on the promotion, and a lot of the time, the promotion they don't have the resources, or they forget the photographer. Like it just goes over their head,
mm,
or sometimes they don't have a video person because they pull out last second, um, or they just completely forget the video. Oh yeah, let's have a big show, and then let's forget a photographer. So it's as if the show never happened. Um,
yeah.
but if Kyle was there, he'd at least have a few clips or a few
Yeah.
photos, and that's better than nothing.
Yeah.
And that's why he was really valuable. Um, and he'll just it's not just with 1 or 2 wrestlers. He'd try to get as much photos and videos with everyone. Um,
Yeah.
I didn't take many photos with Kyle because I'm always busy all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm either too busy at the merch table, um, or I'm helping backstage, whether it's at Wrestling Go or somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to make everything the best it can be. At Wrestling Go, I'm stressed, so I'm staying backstage. I'll come out at the end of the show. um, at other places, right now it's All Star Wrestling and Kingdom. I'm trying to help, run the show a little bit. I'm just trying to help out, make sure everyone's happy and
Yeah.
okay and safe. Because I want them to be as good as they can be. Their production's a lot better than mine, both of them. But I want their everything to be better than if I wasn't there.
Mm,
Because if I'm not helping, then what am I doing? Um, like I'm just wasting. I'm just wasting their time, Because if you're not trying to get something to the best it can be, well, then you're wasting, everyone's time. Um, for me, Wrestling goes different because it's more. There could be more bells and whistles. It could look fancier. It could have all the commentary and it could have all the highlight packages. It could be at the fancy venues. Um, but if every place is like that, then there's no alternative for the for the average Joes. I love that PWA and MCW are at a spot where they can charge, you know, 60, $40 to $60 a ticket, sell out every show, beforehand, because that's a lot of money.
Mm.
PWA, 18 plus. So I'm going to go to a PWA show. I only have to worry about my $40 to $60
Yeah.
because it's just me. MCW, they've got some kids, just some. They've got kids, but just some. But when you're running a complete family show, you need to be able to cooperate with their funds. If someone can't, like a family can't afford $25 a ticket,
Mm.
that's $100 just for the ticket for two little kids and their parents. $100. And then what if they want merchandise, especially with the kids? What if they want drinks, food? What if there was parking? What if they
Mm.
caught the train? Um, and then there's, if there's wrestling at the show, so if it's at nighttime, you might get a hot dog or something. If you're at a club, you're, you're going to have to spend a buttload of money on the food. Um,
Mm.
if you're at the family shows, you can get a sausage, and then maybe you'll get something easy on the way home, or you have a home cooked dinner. Um,
Yeah.
but if you're at PWA, you spend your own money.
Yeah.
With family shows, which Slam and Newcastle are doing really well. It's really unfortunate that Newcastle, um, they've got the City Hall shows, which are
Mm.
amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, their last
but,
one was just unreal. They done a 10 bell salute
mhm,
for Kyle, and I swear
but
to God, you could literally hear him say, "Here we fucking go." Like you could hear his voice in that building that
and they've
show.
got they've got the amazing chair. Um,
Oh, that's unreal.
it's awesome. Um, and like Newcastle setup is amazing, especially at those shows. Um, it's great that they've got their own home base at the Hoos. Um, I don't know if they sell out every show or if they can, or if they need more chairs. Um, if they're not selling out the place, or if they are, if the if there's 100 seats, they sell 100 seats, or
Mm.
if there's 100 seats and they need more room, but it's not enough to justify getting another venue. Like moving out every month, because
Yeah.
it's annoying. They've got an amazing setup, and imagine moving that every single month and then having to set it back up. It's a hassle.
Mm.
So what they've got there is great. So that, like, they're a great family show. Slam, they're doing amazing as well, like incredible. Um, their stuff is just plain, and it's plain and simple, but with all the bells and whistles.
Mm.
Um, you've got everyone in good shape. You've got their school, which went from it was Dan Archer and Luke Watts and Mikey Broderick. It was the three of them, and then it grew and it grew. It was just people wrestling around to the point where, hey, maybe we should actually start a school and have people come in. And now they've got 20 trainees, a few very good wrestlers, very good, that have come from the school, and I can't wait for them to be wrestling other places. They wrestle pretty much wherever Luke goes. Luke Watts, whether that be AWE, sometimes All Star Wrestling. Um, yeah, there are some really good guys there, and their setup's
Mm.
amazing, and it's just it's simple and it works, and it's the ultimate family show. If I were to recommend a show in Australia for a family, I don't know. It would come down to two companies. It would come down to Riot City Wrestling, because they've got everything down pat. They've had it
Yeah.
down pat for over 10 years. Um, them and Slam. And Slam have only been around for a year, maybe year and a half. I'm not 100% sure. I know it's the whole production's been in the works for a couple of years.
Mm.
But I feel like that's the ultimate place to be if you want to be a family show wrestler.
Mm.
Because there's a difference. Because when I ran Wrestling Go shows back in 2017, 18, there were some, like, and this isn't a knock on anyone whatsoever.
Mm.
You've got some of the very best over at PWA, and then they come over to Wrestling Go or Newcastle Pro Wrestling or somewhere else where it's a family show, and they just try to have a wrestling match, and then the crowd sits on their hands. And this isn't me. I sincerely aren't. I'm not trying to knock on them, because having a great wrestling match it's really good if you're
Mm.
a wrestling fan, right? If you're there to see the wrestling, while the kids, they want to see the characters, and that's why I feel like Slam and Riot City Wrestling, PWA have a lot of characters right now. Like I don't think people realize how big PWA could be. Like people say that PWA and MCW are the biggest companies in Australia, like reach wise, but I don't think they realize how big PWA could be if they ran solely family shows, because they could easily get 500, 750, 1,000 people a show. Because of their connections, because of how big their team is, and because of all of their different characters, and there are so many smart people up in the, higher ups there. There's so much experience, and they're so good. And I know that they want to do the black label shows, the 18 plus shows, because they did that to be different, because they had to change their business model. Because when I was there, it was doing fine, but it wasn't making money. It wasn't sustainable. They had to change, and what changed was someone bought the company, took a chance, and it succeeded. And look at them now.
Yeah. All right. Let's quickly talk about your time as El Honcho Jr. You were feuding with your best friend Mantis. What was it like feuding with a guy like Riley O'Neill, formerly known as Mantis?
It was weird. It was really weird. It was cool because it was something different. I understand why they wanted to do it. I think to me it makes sense. It's because I don't know if I was the most popular person there, but I was up there, and I was more popular than Mantis, Riley O'Neill. So it would make more of an impact if I was the one to be slowly turned evil. Um, what does this say? And Jazzy, Raphael. Yep.
Good
Um,
grief.
yep. So you had Fly Girl, who's Merch Girl Sam. You had Riley O'Neill as Mantis. You had me as B Boy. Then you had Jazzy. He was the LJ. What was he? LJ Waspington or something. He was a wasp. Um, and
Oh boy. What did I
mhm.
miss? Holy smokes. What did I miss?
You didn't
Like
miss
for
much with
real.
you didn't miss much with Jazzy. He was there. He only had one match with Bishop Summers, and then he quit.
What a throwback name. What a throwback name. Bishop Summons.
Yep.
Holy smokes. We can't swear, guys, because this is a family stream for today only, because Wrestling Girl is a family show. So no swearing. No swearing, people. Come on. Oh, by the way, I had a message from Torture. He said he's coming for you on Sunday to kick your ass.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. We'll see what
So,
happens.
okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, yeah. I've got some news about all that some other time. It'll come out soon. So yeah. So I was playing the bad guy as El Honcho Jr. Um, I was slowly getting into it,
Hmm.
um, but then it was fun, but it suddenly changed once we found out what the end goal was, and that was for Neil to take off the mask, because he's a really good-looking guy, um,
I agree. I agree with that 1,000%.
and him being in a mask didn't make sense.
Yeah.
But we were getting okay as a tag team. We were the most popular tag team. Um, I did get very jealous.
Hmm.
Um, it culminated in a mask versus mask match at PWA. Um, we had the match. I think right before we went out, I told Robbie, I was like, you know, he didn't really want to lose the mask. And then Robbie's like, oh, you should have told us. I'm like, well, we're clearly doing stuff as a tag team. We were just in America. We did King of Trio stuff with Chikara. We wrestled all over the country. Because at that time we were trying to go to Japan, and then it kind of got taken away from us because of the mask being taken off.
Hmm.
Because you can't really be the Hive when one guy's in a mask, or you can't be. It's weird when you've got a tag team. One guy's in a mask, one isn't. It's a hard story to tell. Some people have done it,
Hmm.
but when you go from you've been in a tag team for a couple of years, one guy doesn't have a mask anymore. Why? Oh, because you beat him for the mask. It's really weird. Um, so we had the match, and the show was called Team, and we had our match. I think we were after intermission. I think so. We weren't even good enough to be the match before intermission, so that stung. Um, but then I think the main event was, I think it was,
Harajuku Hipsters versus Madison and Moretti for the tag titles. I was there
that
at that show. Front row, John Cena mark once again.
that's the one, and they were the ones to win the tag titles, and we were really disappointed. Um, they were a really good tag team. Um,
Hmm.
but I feel like we had the popularity to get us there, and it just didn't happen. Um, but that's okay. Um, but yeah, that was a big hit, um, for both of us, really, because when that's what you're going for, and then they were a random, t- they were two random people chucked
Mm.
together. Um, while we weren't like at training, when Neil started, we became best friends instantly for whatever reason. Um, same age, cool, but yeah, we just clicked. Um, and then yeah, so we were teaming, and then it was Unsocial Jordan and Rufio for a few shows, and then that's not sustainable. So you have the team of Instagram and Unsocial Jordan, who later turned into SMS, and SMS became really good, um, but they weren't as popular as us, and that aided us. Um, and being popular and being the champion isn't, no, it's, it's not the most important thing. If you're popular, well, you're going to be popular.
Mm.
So title doesn't matter. Sometimes the the less popular people need the titles. Um, I don't
Yeah.
win many matches because I don't need to win the matches. I don't win many rivalries because I don't need to. Um, I because if I have a rivalry, I'll most likely lose because I'm always going to be popular. For whatever reason, I'm really lucky. Um,
Even though I flip you off every single match,
hmm
I'm always that
um,
one guy to flip you off. But nah, it's
um,
fun though.
yeah, like some people aren't as popular, um, so they need to win, unless it's going to be, you know, undeniable, and I need to do something. Because I've been wrestling, I've been on shows since 2011, and I haven't won many championships or titles or whatever. Um, I always used to joke around a few years ago that I actually won more titles in America, um, with a different gimmick. Um, when I was doing Kaiju Big Battle and stuff, over in America, I was winning all these titles and stuff with different costumes. Then I had one back home in Australia. Um, I won two or three titles over there because at that stage I had only won, I think, two titles. I think I won the first title I won was the Newcastle Middleweight Championship.
RSC middleweight title, yeah.
Yep. Um, and then after that, I think it may have been the Suplex Tag Team title with Bobby Bishop, and that was in 2018, maybe. So that's over 4 years later. Um, so 3 years to win the first thing, and then another 4 years. So in 7 years, I've won two championships.
Mm.
Um, while some people win championships in 6 months, a year, and then they just win, 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 um, and then yeah, and I don't know, like championships, they don't mean that much to me. Um, Look, the sentiment means a lot to me. When someone trusts me, that means a lot.
Mm.
Um, but if I don't win championships, that's okay because I don't need them. I know my place on the card. Um, so from there, I won the Wrestling Go gold medal. That was in 2019, I think. And I think that I was that's where I was at a point at Wrestling Go where people were begging me to win. Um, so that was just organic. 'Cause I lost every match for I don't know how long. It was like a year,
Mm.
maybe a year and a half. And then I ended up winning, and then I did I win the title recently? I don't remember. Um, I'm not sure, but I haven't won that many championships, and people get really caught up in winning championships. Um,
Mm.
they'll politic or they'll get angry or it, but you need to have a reason. If it's just to win a championship, well then you know it, you're not doing it for the right reasons. It's
Mm.
wrestling. As much as you want it to be for you, it's not for you. It's for the people paying to watch. Um,
Mm.
you want to make money from it. Um, like you wouldn't do it in America. You wouldn't do it in Japan. You wouldn't do it in Mexico, England. You might put forward your case. Hey, this is why I think I would make a good champion right now for this reason. But you wouldn't. You wouldn't. You shouldn't whine and complain because if you do, that puts you in a bad light.
Mm.
And I've always got people being like, "Oh, I should have won the thing. Why haven't I won a title before? When am I going to win one?" Um, it, it shouldn't matter, even if you deserve one. Um, like some people, they just don't win championships. Um, you know, some people are stars, and you're like, "Yep, that guy's a champion." Some people are better just to chase the title, and I think I'm one of those people because I get sympathy. You know, I can get beat up for 10 hours, and the crowd will still be behind me. So
Mm.
some people get beat up for 5 minutes and then they're asleep. So yeah,
All right.
but
Let's talk about the early days of Wrestling Go. The first show from what I've seen sold out, and then you guys had what, like a couple shows with like 15, 20 people, and yet I was still at that show. How many shows have I missed of Wrestling Go? Like what, two, three? A
it's
few?
not
I'm
many.
missing. No. The early days of Wrestling Go, they were like, it was a different promotion. Plus, it was only like 10 minutes from where I lived too. So say the show was like at 2 o'clock, I was home
Hmm.
by like 4:35.
Hmm.
Like I don't really care because it's wrestling. I love it. Like any promotion, I'm always there. I just had a quick comment. We had the masks and everything. Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about the early days of Wrestling Go. What was the idea to actually start up Wrestling Go in the first place?
Um, so about I left PWA at the end of 2015, maybe the start of 2016. Um, it was me and a few others. It was me. Um, it was Neil, Riley O'Neill, um, and a couple of others, and then some others uh, left within the next 6 months, a year, um, because they felt like they weren't being heard or uh, they weren't being included in stuff or social activities or it was just like everything wasn't a team anymore. It was like there was this group and then this group, and I was in this group. Um, so I left because I wasn't happy, and I spoke up. And I'm like, well, here are all of my issues. Um, can fix them? And they did. They fixed them, which is good. I said, if it takes me to leave for it to be fixed, then that's a good thing. Then it's worth it. And I haven't wrestled a PWA show since, um, which is a bummer. But right now, I don't suit PWA. I don't think now, because I'm different. I mean, I could maybe work with the Stinger, but they're more focused on the wrestling. That's not what I do anymore. So a few of us left, and then I had a few others. I had a little training space, and then you had all of these AWF people come in, and some of the others, and so you had Jax Jordan, Jared Idle, Jake Gibson, Jasmine Keegan. You had Rob Oxley, you had Gat, you had Jason Dewhurst. I think you had Kasai. Neil was there. Erica Reed. I don't know. Albie was there. There were a lot of people. Tree Huggalucci, Kai Drake. And I was helping train them a little bit, and that went on for maybe, it wasn't long, it was like 3 months, maybe 6 months. We'll go with 3 months. And then we had to get out of the space. But I was like, maybe I should run a show, because pretty much what was going on was, so Drew Gulak, who I had met the year prior, and helped me and Neil out a lot in 2015 when we were in America. He was actually coming out to Australia, and so I tried to organise a show in case he was able to be there. He wasn't able to be there, but we just carried on as if, as if he was going to be there. So here's a new company. Had no idea what to call it. I was sick of all of the 3-letter acronyms, because all the companies sound the same. It's AWS, it's AWE, it's AWF, it's a blah, blah, blah. It's all the same thing. And so I was like, Pokemon Go had come out. It was like literally a month before the show. And so I was like, well, Wrestling Go is different. It's simple, and it's not 3 letters, 4 letters. And so we went with that.
Oh boy, this has been one of my longest chats ever. No joke. Legit. But some of them just go for like 15. No, it's all good. It's good. Obviously, guys, this Sunday we have a big event for Wrestling Go. We have the gold medal on the line as the Lee Morrow defends against former champion Pain Machine, guys. My pick, the Lee Morrow. And then we've got everyone's favorite Trigmaster, the Trigger, Mr. Tommy Trigger versus The Bachelor. This should be a very interesting match. We've got a wannabe rapper and a wannabe lover. Let's put it that way, folks. And then we have Joey in action, my man. We got the Genghis Kong in action, undefeated Genghis Kong, FYI. We have debuting Mr. CJ Young versus Jake Gibson. We have a original Greases match. We have, if it will load for me, Tristan Slade versus Flame. I put out the that the loser should sleep outside in a tent. So, and then of course we have your match, which you're gonna lose against my man Torture this Sunday. Wrestling Go, obviously paying tribute to the one, the only. If it will load for me this time, Mr. Kyle Eade. Kyle, we miss ya. Hope you're doing well, lad. But yeah, this has been fun. This has been fun. It's been an hour, but hey. Someone in the chat says we want the Cowboy Chris Abbott on a Wrestling Go show. Unfortunately, Cowboy lives in Blaney. Blaney sucks. I don't mind. All right, you know what? Let's talk about, would wrestling go country to like these rural towns for a show?
So I know that my dad has wanted to do these sort of things. When he retires from work, just do these 3 show weekends, and just wrestle, make some money, have fun. Really, it's just about having fun.
Yeah.
But All Star are doing a lot of that sort of thing now. IWA, they're not doing it as much as they used to. They pretty much do it in blocks now. They do their awesome massive one in in January school holidays.
Yeah.
Apparently it's the best time ever. And then I think that there's another couple sprinkled in throughout the year. There might be 2 or 3 shows. But I'm not sure. Like it would definitely work because of all the characters. But it's all about timing and being able to find the right spots, because you need it all to line up. Obviously school holidays are the best times, and there's only 4 of those a year. Whereas in America, you're able to go pretty much anywhere at any time, and there's always festivals and fairs and all of these things, and you go to this little town and it's got absolutely nothing. In Australia, everywhere's pretty close, because you got Perth, and then you got the East Coast, and then everything in the middle, it's pretty much there's nothing there, because you can't actually live there because it's way too hot. So everything's condensed, everything's too close together. If there were people all over Australia, so including the middle, then there'd be more chances of that. But because then everyone would be more spread out. But because everyone's so close together, it's harder to organize. But never say never. But I wouldn't hold my breath.
Yeah. Wrestling Go have had some amazing internationals over the years. Let's talk Emma, Dalton Castle, TJP, which, by the way, that TJP show was the first ever show, Wrestling Go show, Kyle was at.
Yeah.
He was sitting front row with Josh, like directly across me, because I got regular spot legit every show. Well, probably 1 or 2 shows I didn't get my normal spot, which I was cool with. But they had TJP, Dalton Castle, Emma, Ultimate Dragon, Candice Michelle,
Mm,
Mr. Anderson. I'm sorry, Mr. Kennedy. Castle Hill show. That was a good show.
mm-hmm.
Castle Hill Grand. That was a really good venue.
Yep. Yep.
And of course, everyone's favorite Pokemon Pikachu.
Pikachu.
Oh, for crying out loud, Pikachu. When will he
Mm-hmm.
learn not to show his face?
Mm-hmm.
But no, this has been fun. We've been going almost an hour, which is
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool with that. You guys, this Sunday, guys, Wrestling Go. If you can't make the show, it'll be up on YouTube. Go check out all previous shows. They have a lot of Wrestling Go shows. Wrestling Go. They have pretty much every single show from like previous years.
Yeah, there was a
March
gap.
of the Wrestlers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in 2018, we were switching over videographers because we had Russell, and he told me at the end of the year I'm done. So there was one or two shows he couldn't make, and then we did the footage ourselves. But then we lost the footage, and then there were one or two shows that his footage got corrupted, and then so we have every single show apart from I think it's 4.5 or 5.5 shows, and all of those shows are in the middle of 2018. So we've got over 50 shows on YouTube.
I'll put the You Go Girl 2 show, 17,000 views, which is pretty nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty crazy. TJP show was that. New World Borderlands. Okay, we need to talk about something. These show names, who came up with them? Like Alex Irvine's Big Day Out, Metal Mayhem, Let the Games Begin. Like, who came up with these show names? That's what I've been wanting to know for like quite some time now.
I would ask some of the wrestlers for input. What's a funny show name? Or what's a theme we could go with? Because we could go with something generic. Like Collision or the Bash, or just something really simple. But then it's not really original, or anyone can come up with that. So we started having some of these personalized shows, but then we had some of the ones where they were wrestling related. So some of the wrestlers would understand what they were, like some of the fans. So we had the Fire Pro Wrestling is a video game. So some of the fans will know, some of the wrestlers will know. So it's Fire Go Wrestling. What was another one that you said? I think there was another video.
New World Borderlands.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I think Borderlands 3 came out about that time. So why not capitalize? So meshed that with New World Order. So yeah, I don't know. It's just coming up with different things. Yeah, I don't know. But then we've got a couple of the basic ones that are there every year. We've got the Go Olympic Games, which is just the show with the Rumble. We've got the anniversary show, which is like we call it the birthday or whatever. We usually have Metal Mayhem in May, where all of the medals are defended, depending on how we go. But yeah, so there are a couple of them that are there every year, or we try to. But the last couple of years, Wrestling Go has been stop and start. this year it's just been all over the shop. Um, like we'll have one show and then we don't know when the next show is. But for right now, we already have the next show booked, and then we think we've got a date for December as well. So we've got October and then we've got December. So yeah, we're a little bit ahead. Like we used to book, 6 months in advance or something. But yeah, so we're getting there. We're getting there.
One last question. What was it like facing Ultimo Dragon?
My story is probably a lot nicer than others.
Hmm.
Um, some people find him difficult to work with, um, whether it be because of the language barrier, or because they're like dragons, just like, all right, we're going to do this. And then you don't get much input. But the thing is, you need to be able to speak his language, and not as in the English language or because he speaks four languages, right? He speaks English, Italian, Spanish, and Japanese, like fluent. Um, you have to speak in broken English. You have to keep it really simple because he is world traveled. He can wrestle anyone in the world, and to do that, um, he has adapted himself to where he knows four languages and he can communicate with anyone in the world because of broken whatever, whether it's broken Spanish, broken Italian, broken English, uh, broken Japanese.
We have Poppy's mother and Poppy in the chat. Hello, Poppy.
Hello.
Their first show was December 2017. My first show of Wrestling Go was show number 2, where I wasn't making. On Poppy's this. Back then, I wasn't making YouTube content like every single month. It was just like, who makes these wrestling vlogs that shows? There's like no one even doing that.
I don't even remember what we were doing in 2017.
6 years ago.
Oh no, I think I do remember. I think, yeah, it was. It might have been around the tag titles, the doubles medals when we were doing that thing. But Ultimo Dragon, you have to speak in broken English. You have to keep it simple. You can't speak 100 miles an hour because that's not what he does. Because he has adapted himself to be able to speak to anyone in the world. Because you don't go to someone who doesn't speak, like, he's fluent in English, but he will clearly say too much, like, you're talking too fast, just keep it simple, because don't forget he knows 4 languages. Just because he knows 4 languages doesn't mean that he can be like because you got 4 languages processing in his head. Just because he knows 4 languages doesn't mean that he knows exactly what you're going to say. You need to be simple. People would be like, oh, this, and he's like, don't understand. And it's not because he didn't understand, it's because you're talking too fast. Like in Japan, they don't speak that fast, even in their language. So for me, I'm like, all right, like I know that you have to speak. You have to dumb yourself down, and this is thanks to Robbie Eagles, because I remember when he came back from Japan the first time in 2011, 2012 from 01, he said he had to keep it simple. He had to literally talk to someone as if they were a baby, because that's what you have to do. You have to assume that they know not much. So yeah, it was simple. Yeah, I don't know. It was a good match, and
I enjoyed it.
And wasn't over the top, but we had fun, and yeah, you just need to dumb yourself down sometimes instead of just being over the top.
And with that, guys, this has been the longest interview I've ever done in my entire life. B-Boy, I want to say buzz, buzz, buzz you. That means thank you and B. And we'll see you guys this Sunday. Wrestling Go, Stand-Up Gardens wave pool, not the actual wave pool, guys. If you think it's in the actual pool, you're delusional. We are raising funds for Kyle. There's the rug, guys. It is fantastic. Quick shout out to Black Rugs, was it?
Redback, like the spider.
Redback Rugs, guys. Go check them out. Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok. They're where. If you guys don't win the raffle, you can personally order your very own Here We Go rug.
Mm-hmm.
The price is $200, but I believe it is worth it, guys. So this Sunday, if you haven't got your tickets or your raffle tickets, they are online right now, guys. B-Boy, I want to say thank you, and let's go torture. Let's go.
We'll see. Thank you.
And with that, we're out, guys.